Alrighty, for pre-AP class, we are doing a scale drawing activity, and I can't tell you what the picture is going to look like because it's going to be a surprise when we do the reveal on Friday when we put all of our pictures together. So everybody today should have gotten 2 of these little strips, and they've got a little number and letter in the lower left corner. So make sure you transfer that number. This case is 5G, so I'm going to put that on my large rectangle here, 5G, so I make sure that when I put it up, it's going into the right place. All right, so what I'm going to need to do first is figure out what the scale factor is up here. And we did that in class, but just in case you need a refresher, remember it's the image length, the new image or the scale drawings length on the top. That's going to be our big image because we're going to be enlarging it. And then our original length, this one right here is our original, and that's going to go on the bottom. And when we divide, we're going to get a scale factor. So when I measure across for my original, this is going to go on the bottom. I'm going to measure in millimeters, and it looks to be about 28 millimeters. So I'm going to put that right there, 28 millimeters. And then I'm going to come down here and measure the large image, what it's going to be. I'm going to measure same units because the scale factor's got to be in same units. And it looks like it's about 182. I'm going to go with 182 millimeters. So I'm going to put that up here, 182 millimeters. All right, now I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to divide 182 divided by 28 gives me 6.5. All right, so my scale factor is 6.5, and I believe that's what we came up with in both of our classes today. So my scale factor is 6.5. That means my new object down here is going to be 6.5 times my original image. So it's bigger than 1, so it's going to be an enlargement, and we knew that already. All right, so how do we go about drawing this little image here identically but proportionally in this larger image? Well, the first thing I need to do is take note of all the places around my edges that change colors. So I'm going to do that just on the outside of it. I'm going to mark special places. These are the places that I need to make sure I note that change in color, and you're going to do that with your drawing as well. And I'm just going to put little notches there just for my information, and because that's how I'm going to translate it proportionally over to my new image. I've got quite a few, but every time there is a place that I need to make sure I do very carefully, proportionally. Now I wonder why you might be asking why I have to do that and be really careful. But if you think about it, you are doing just piece of this picture, and somebody's doing the one next door on both sides, and somebody's doing one above and one below. If I don't put this line right here and I don't do it proportionally on my large picture, then the person that's got that continuation, they're not going to match up, when it should look like it's just one picture flowing from one piece to the next. So it's very important that I do my scale drawing proportionally, exactly. So be real careful with your marks first of all. Now once we have some marks in place, and I have some here, I'm going to take my ruler, and with my millimeter side, I'm going to measure from a corner, and it's usually best to use the corner that's closest to it. So I'm going to do this mark right here. I'm going to measure from this corner to that mark, and it looks to be about 6 millimeters. I hope you can see that. So I'm going to put 6 millimeters for that one. Now, I'm going to put some of my measurements for my dots right here Now you notice I've got quite a few dots here, so I can keep going or I can do some more on another piece of paper. So this is just some in case you just have just a few that you need to write down. So I'm going to put my 6 millimeters. This is the distance from the corner for my original object. My scale factor is going to be the same for all of these. It's going to be 6.5. So what I'm going to do now is take that 6.5 on my calculator and multiply it by my 6 millimeters, and I get 39 millimeters. So that means I went from the lower left corner over. So on my new image, from the lower left corner, I'm going to move over 39, which is going to be right there. And that, the line that I made in my original object corresponds to the line right there. So I know that in my original object, I'm going to have a very large, dark object that comes down and ends right there. Then I've got to make sure my large object comes down and ends right there. And I'm going to have other things going on in my drawing. Now, it's not as important that you are perfect on the inside as you are perfect around the edges where it's going to meet those others that are next door and above and below. So make sure your edges are exact proportionally. And then on the inside, what you can do is you can make, I have a dot right here. So this looks like a line that goes from here and it goes down and then it kind of comes out just a bit to here. So I will be able to do a rough line after I mark those places on the outside of the image, and I can kind of figure out that dark line that needs to come down. And then I can do the same thing with that side of the dark object with this edge. And so I can make a rough line here, but I also have to account for this little white space in my picture. So like I said, on the inside, you want to be as identical as possible, but on the inside, it's not as important about these little white things right here that they be perfect as it is important that everything on the outside that meets, because I am going to have it continue on the pictures above, below, and to the sides. So be real careful with your marking here. Be very accurate in your new distance from the corner for your new image, and be really accurate. So obviously you're going to need a ruler and a sharp pencil and a calculator to solve these out. Now once you get finished with your image, make sure that your coloring and shading is as identical as possible. That's going to be important because we all want this to look like one big picture when we put all the pieces together. So get as close in shading, and all done with a pencil, but get close to shading these real dark areas. You're just going to have to keep going over with a pencil and make dark, dark, dark as possible, but just use a number 2 pencil. Now in some of these pictures you see it's kind of blurry or soft looking, so once you do some of your drawing, then take a Kleenex and just rub over it with a Kleenex, and you get the real soft blurriness that's really nice, that makes the picture really nice. But you want to be as identical as possible to the original image. We're just taking that image and making it bigger. So I look forward to seeing everybody's pictures. Please take your time with it. We want it to look nice, and even if one little picture, if somebody just doesn't do it very carefully, it kind of can throw the whole picture off. So take good care of your 2 little pictures, and we'll be doing it in class. And if you're not in class over Wednesday or Thursday, then you're going to have to do them all at home. Give me a call or email me if you have any trouble, or you can come in before or after school.